Buenos dias, chicos. Good day again. Now we're going to go into the past perfect subjunctive in Spanish. The past perfect subjunctive, or pluscuamperfecto de subjuntivo, is a fancy name for it in Spanish, is usually the last perfect tense to be studied. You should not even attempt to understand the past perfect subjunctive until you have a firm grasp on the other perfect tenses, like the present perfect. Yo he estudiado. Tú has estudiado. Él ha estudiado. Nosotros hemos estudiado. Or the past perfect, like tú habías estudiado. Yo había estudiado. Nosotros habíamos estudiado. We had studied. Or I had studied. Or the future perfect, for example. Él habrá estudiado. He will have studied. This really is necessary. If you don't understand these other perfect tenses, then the past perfect subjunctive is going to be a mystery. The forms of the past perfect subjunctive are very simple, whereas in the past perfect we use había, habías, había, habíamos, habían. In the past perfect subjunctive, the forms of había simply change to hubiera. So, hubiera estudiado, hubieras estudiado, hubiera estudiado, nosotros hubiéramos estudiado, ellos hubieran estudiado. They sound long and complex, but really it's very simple. You're repeating hubiera over and over. The meaning of the English is had, just as in the past perfect. So, hubiera estudiado means the same thing as había estudiado. I had studied. Hubieras comido, you had eaten. Hubiera escrito, he or she had written, and so forth. So the meaning doesn't change in English. In reality, the past perfect subjunctive is used basically the same way as the past perfect, except it's used in situations where you must have subjunctive. So, a couple of examples of past perfect without subjunctive are: Antes de las 7 esta mañana, yo había comido el desayuno. Before 7 this morning, I had eaten breakfast. Now note, in this case, you're taking the context back to a point in time in the past. In this case, it's 7 this morning. And you're simply saying, before 7, I had done something. In this case, I had eaten breakfast. So it is past perfect, literally meaning finished in the past at some point. Another example is, antes de este año, nosotros no habíamos jugado al béisbol. So, before this year, we had not played baseball. That is, a point in a time is beyond this year, before this year started, we had not played. No habíamos jugado. Now that is the simple past perfect, or pluscuamperfecto. In order to practice the tense of subjunctive, past perfect subjunctive, we will start with a sentence in the past perfect and then change it into a sentence that requires subjunctive. And note how it changes. Past perfect. Esta mañana, antes de las 8, yo no había comido el desayuno. This morning, before 8, I had not eaten breakfast. Past perfect. But this sentence now requires subjunctive. Past perfect subjunctive. Era una lástima que. Well, that's an expression that must always have subjunctive. It was a shame that. So we cannot use había comido anymore. We must say hubiera comido. Or era una lástima que yo no hubiera comido el desayuno. It was a shame I had not eaten breakfast. Another example of this change. Ana estaba enferma y por eso no había venido a la fiesta. Ana was sick, and because of that, had not come to the party. Now, put in era una lástima, an expression that needs subjunctive. We must say, era una lástima que Ana no hubiera venido a la fiesta. Hubiera venido, Ana had not come to the party. And we must have hubiera venido. We cannot use había venido in that case at all because we have to have subjunctive there. Now let's try a few sentence translations, and I'll give you a few seconds to translate these sentences. Repeat them out loud for practice, and then I will repeat the correct answer. Note the use of already or ya in Spanish. This word will appear often along with this tense and is usually placed right before the verb haber. It was good that you already had finished the work. Era bueno que ya hubiera terminado el trabajo. It was good, era bueno, que ya hubiera terminado, that she already had finished the work. Era malo que yo no hubiera llegado a tiempo. Era malo que yo no hubiera llegado a tiempo. We must have hubiera llegado because era malo que demands subjunctive. Era improbable que ellos ya hubieran salido. They had already left. Notice ya right before the verb hubieran salido. Yo tenía miedo que ustedes ya hubieran terminado. I was afraid, past tense verb needing subjunctive, que ustedes ya hubieran terminado, that you had already finished. Notice again, ya right before the verb haber, and it's got to be subjunctive because tenía miedo always takes subjunctive. No era verdad que yo hubiera llamado. It wasn't true that I had called. Hubiera llamado because no era verdad would always demand subjunctive. Past perfect subjunctive will also be used in C clauses as well, and you will see this when you study them, but here's an example. It's a pretty complex tense, so don't attempt this unless you're dealing with this directly right now. If I had had time, I would have studied more. In Spanish, then, we say, si yo hubiera tenido tiempo, past perfect subjunctive, going along with the si clause there. Yo habría estudiado más. And there's conditional perfect in habría estudiado más. So that's a complex type of construction, which you will study when you do si clauses in depth. Felicitaciones, ya lo tienes. The past perfect subjunctive. No es difícil, es fácil.